Hello, team, and welcome to episode 39. Do you still have yet to stop and smell the roses? I opened up my Gringo Minute calendar this week and it said, stop and smell the roses. I said, deal, let's do this. And I do think it is important for us every once in a while to stop and actively relax and enjoy life. So today we're having a rest week. But it's a rest week for me, not for you. So we will be learning some cool English stuff. We will be seeing the difference between still and yet, which is an occasional problem for my Brazilian students. We'll see a cool word that I have been seeing a lot of, which is to frame. And talking a little bit about rest and how we can enjoy our English journey. So let's see what we've got. Warm-up content, the importance of rest with Dr. Mike. At the moment, I think Dr. Mike is the best fitness content creator on the internet. There are maybe more technical content creators, but in terms of physical, gym stuff, I think he's the best because he mixes the practical know-how. He actually lifts. He's a teacher. He has a PhD, and he also adds those jokes in, which make it a little bit more entertaining. So I like his stuff. And my first question for you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how have you been sleeping? In my experience, the way somebody has been sleeping is a good indicator of how they have been feeling. So if you have not been sleeping well, how could you make your sleep 10% better? What do you need? Team, question number 2, what is something you insist on doing 7 days a week? Could it benefit from taking one day off? Well, I guess this is something I think a little bit about with supplements. Almost everything in our lives benefit from a day off, whether it's the gym, work, even people having even if it's a couple hours away from people, just that you miss them. But some supplements. Sometimes I wonder whether it would be better to take one day off, even from like the omegas and the creatines. So, team, our grammar point, still and yet. So still and yet in Portuguese are the same word. But in English, while we can use them in the same situations, they are a little bit different. And whether you like to think of the word ongoing, continuous, or unchanged, I want you to associate one of these with still. Following the 80% rule, it is usually used in positive sentences. I will show you how to use them in the negative, but usually we use them in positive sentences. So this would be the most common way to see still. She is still working on the project. She still works at that company. She has still been working on that project. So whether it's the present simple, present continuous, present perfect continuous, it should be going through the present because still until now. Are you still playing Chibia? Huh, Mr. Andre? Are you? But that's how you would use it in a question. And just so you can see how we would use this in a negative, she still hasn't finished the project. It does call attention to this negative. It still hasn't finished. And maybe if you want to play the blame game and say, that's somebody at work. But in general, instead of saying she still hasn't finished the project, a more common way to say this will be she hasn't finished the project yet, where we will be focusing on the future. But before we get to the examples, yet refers to something expected to happen or be completed. So we're talking about the future because it has not happened yet. And I think a good reference is for you to pair hasn't or haven't together with yet. They're like rice and beans. You can eat them separately, but they're usually together. And the reason is because up until now, this has not happened, is usually what you're talking about. So it's usually at the end of sentences in this example. We can use yet, completely different meaning as a transition word. It's like a strong but. I like vanilla, yet sometimes I order chocolate. So we can use it like that. That is not today's class. All right, so usually you'll see this at the end of sentences, negative sentences. She hasn't finished the project yet. Most common way you will see this. She has yet to finish the project. It is not wrong. It just sounds kind of weird, kind of Yoda-ish. So if you use it once, fine. If you repeat it a lot, it'll sound strange. I haven't been to Tibet yet. One day I will. It carries that expectation feeling. And in this sense, it's the opposite side of the expectation coin to already. If I ask you, have you been to Tibet? Yes, you have already been to. It's not actually a good example for a completely other reason that I'm not going to go into this class. But if I say, have you done the dishes? Carries a certain expectation that the dishes will be done. And then, yes, I have already done them, or no, I haven't done them yet because I will. So they are the two sides of the expectation coin. Summary, still continuation, yet focuses on that it is expected to happen. Some quick little fill in the blanks for you. And let me see. What is something you are still waiting to do this year? I'm still waiting to go to Serra de Cipó. Why haven't I done it yet? Because Patricia was pregnant and she wouldn't be very comfortable there, and now Liam's little. But we will go soon. Mr. Daniel, we will see you there. Team, our interview workshop. And whether you are preparing for an interview or you just want to be a better communicator, framing is an important word. And a frame literally is, that square around a painting or a picture or something. And we use it as a verb to kind of say the perspective with which you see something. And if you are very direct in your communication, you just need to pray that they are seeing things through the same frame you are. So it is often to your advantage to set the frame before you propose your ideas. And let's see some of these examples in a professional environment. So can you tell me a time when you felt overwhelmed at work? All right, simple question and weak answer, or a normal answer. A colleague left the company. I had to take over his responsibilities unexpectedly. I felt overwhelmed with the new tasks. But a better answer, a framed answer. When my colleague left the company, I had to take over his responsibilities. Same start. At first, it felt overwhelming. That first initial, what am I going to do? And there was a moment when I felt it might be too much. But I actually ended up learning a lot about time management and definitely know how to prioritize tasks better. So you frame it as a learning, growing experience instead of as I almost went crazy. You can use this to address weaknesses, to keep the narrative positive, and there are various reasons why you might want to frame what you say. This is just a conversation it has nothing to do with the framing, actually. It's a topic that arose in one of my classes. So, who do you think would be who do you think is the best villain of all time? And the reason we talked about this was because the better the villain, the better the hero looks, and the better. So we can frame a problem as being very big, so that you seem like an even greater hero. And who is the greatest villain in movie history? Probably Darth. I think it's Darth Vader. Thanos from a financial perspective, I guess Avengers made a lot of money, but Darth Vader from a legacy perspective, and Joker just from a personal favorite. Team, our talking point, rest. At least me personally, sometimes I think I'm resting. I'm just doing other things or slowing down a little bit. So I think it's important for us to start by defining it and talking about what we need to rest from and how we do it. So I brought some different points, and I also added a cool word that I like in English. We talk a lot about triggers, but rarely they're opposite. Glimmers, those moments of those week, those glimmers of hope, those fun moments. So what are 3 of your favorite weekly glimmers? On Wednesday, Lisa and I do some video game training. She has been enjoying playing Zelda. On Thursdays, we often make a good sandwich, hamburgers this week. So those are some glimmers in my. And of course, Friday. Friday, everybody. I like going to the gym when I finished work on Friday. I think I lift more weight just because I'm excited for the week. But your challenge this week: #rest harder than me. Let's see who can rest the hardest. Bonus points if you bring a picture with a caption, and you will receive one of these Gringo Minute, Johnny Walker collab mugs. So team, Thank you. That is it. Let me see if I could answer one more. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Reading is resting. I will agree because I like to read fiction, but if I was to read something really dense, probably it would not be. But yes, reading is resting for me, maybe not for everybody. All right. This is the full interview from Dr. Mike. Team, thank you, and I hope to see you in class.